Well, another great day to you, and a continual blessing for your growth as you continue to listen to these broadcasts. And I really appreciate you giving yourself that time to listen to the broadcast and to really be enriched. And I trust that you are free to put a post up or write an email. You could check I think on top that right hand top there, the YouTube, you may be able to see the email address, and get in touch and let me know what's happening, because it's important for us to help each other in terms of me not just sharing me, but making sure that I'm relevant, and I really want to do that. And today I am continuing to look at how we really acclimatize within our environments, and to have that kind of stability, what one would call emotional intelligence, or what I would call look before you leap, what I will consider the need to assess in context of going forward. It's not always real in terms of how we work our today, how we decide that we are going to get up in the morning, we're going to have breakfast, we're going to go out to work or go to the grocery and do things, and then, there's that constant timetable. Now, we don't even realize that since, as I said, since kindergarten, we have been in a timetable. And we still do that, even though we are married and have children, we still timetable, because you have to get up a particular time, you have to leave the house at a particular time, you have to get to work at a particular time, there's lunchtime, and go home. And so that we're still in that timetable, even though we tend to think that we control it. No. Be real, it still controls us, especially the ones that get to work. If you miss the red line, some of us lose pay. But of course, extensively, we know that we can go beyond 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And so that when we come back home from work on afternoons, we don't realize that we're back on the timetable again. It's wash, clean the kitchen, clean the house, get the children ready, have a bath, do your homework, eat, go to bed, time to go to bed. So our whole mindset is wrapped up in time with space. How do we continue to see the relevance of that as a means of success for where we are going and what we're doing? How do we define its success? How do we establish that, hey, we have done what we ought to do for day? I was looking at the whole context of growth and how we have grown over the many years, from baby to whatever age you are, and to see that reality that we sometimes did not even entertain, because it was like I found myself creeping, then I found myself walking, and then I realized I'm out of the house with in an environment with many other children like myself, and then I changed from one location to another location, and most of my experiences may have been in an educational environment. Whether the educational environment was home, which is non-formative, or formative within the preschool and the primary and of course secondary, etc. But all that time we didn't realize that we were getting taller and getting bigger, and we were changing the schools, environments, and we were also changing peoples. And all that happened within those structured times. So when somebody tells me they don't have time, or they couldn't do it, or they know it's exhausted, hey, you grew up structured, you grew up with those things, and you call yourself successful. Therefore, we have to evaluate what it is what it means to me, or what it means to you in terms of growth, and in terms of how we bring that growth into a stable, balanced environment. Therefore, we actually talk about behavior. How do we behave? But when we tell the child to come inside from playing outside, we don't remember or rather we don't even realize that we are changing the child from one space to another, but we're also changing the context of behavior, because I am now going to have to behave differently inside than I was outside, and I don't want to behave the way I'm going to behave inside, outside, or rather I want to behave that way, but if I behave that way, I'm going to hear, hey, don't do that. That is not here, that's what I would say. So, when I get big, like me or you, and I leave work and I come home, do I want to behave the same way I behaved outside, inside? Do I want to behave the same way I behave all day inside now? No, I want difference. So some of us may want to behave that way. And so therefore, there is all these issues of emotional reactions or responses that are important for us to see how we can live balanced and effective with the other. How do we interpret this growing up? How do we interpret this space? So what are your thoughts when being told from 3 years to come away from that, or by 5 get to your books, or by 7 what you're doing, no more play, and by 9 you're going to leave that alone, stop playing with makeup, by 13 I want to look pretty, I want to cut my hair, I want to go out, by 19 I want to be in the malls, I want to have a girlfriend. Excuse me? How do we handle that? Oh, by the way, did you do your work? Oh, did you pass your exams? Oh, my son is, my daughter is. How are we getting all that done and expressed when we haven't really learned how to work the emotions to successfully engage with our future or even with our present? Because all this is about future, by the way. So we need to take a look at the thing that how we are thinking. Is it that I like it how it is? Is it that I learned it that way and I'm not going to change? This is how I know it. Why is everybody telling me what to do? I have my own mind. I can do things for myself. I'm my own boss, and I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. So we are working with reactions here on a daily basis, because we are told what to do somewhere on the line all the time. We are told what to do, whether it's fridge, whether it's by our stomach, whether it's by the traffic light, whether it's by the white lines, whether it's on the road that tells us we can't cross over, whether it's the rain or the sun, or whether it's, it's the weather. It's always the weather, this or that. So there are always these variables that are around us that we have to make what is important decisions. And you hear that word as we go along for a while, as we develop this new series here about leaping before you leap. Thinking. Yes, looking before you leap. Looking before you leap. Yeah. So, how do I make that decision? How do I really put myself into the place where I can really agree that what I am doing is what I need to do? How do I make that real? How do I help that to happen? And what I'm actually talking about, and I trust I am confused a little bit, so you will be intently listening. Yes, it's how do I get agreement with child and me, or spouse and me, or employer and me, or friend and me? How do I get that agreement? How do I know that what I am doing is what I need to do? Is it because I've agreed with you? Is it because I've agreed with me? And am I allowed to agree with me, or am I being disobedient or rebellious because I haven't listened to what you said or what her said, she said? Oh my gosh. Am I confusing you? I hope I am. Because we don't realize that this is in slow motion here to the reality. Come here. No, I'm not coming. But have we the patience to ask why I'm not coming? Have we the patience to ask what makes you turn around the way you do, or what makes you eat the way you eat, And why did you respond that way? Are we willing to have those conversations that will help us to realize that our decision making encompasses more variables than we think? It's not about just me jumping into a yes or rejecting a no. It's about the rationalization of all the emotions that I have grown up with, that I have heard, that presents itself at that point of instruction, that makes you want to, and I have to, by the way, wheel in terms of all this goes through my head. I kind of calculate it, manipulate it in my head, and said, oh, at the end of it, no, I will not, or I will. And that's where we need to be today, importantly. How do I work out, may I use this word, the trappings of a yes or a no? How do I successfully, and I use the word successful here with a bit of sarcasm maybe, or should I say wit? How do I really get to be free to say that yes or that no without guilt or accusation? And know that I am happy about my decision. How do I? So, how do I feel about sitting where I'm sitting or standing where I'm standing when somebody says, hey, move, you're in the wrong place? Do I have time to ask the person, what about this place is wrong? Or do I just ignore and continue standing where I am, or do I decide that I will shift to where I was directed? Eat this. I've been having some interesting times at home with eating. I do not like, but I have prepared a meal, very prayerfully, very selectively. Notice my word prayerfully. Very selectively. And I have prepared it with love and concern about your future. So I've made sure the carbs are right amount, the vitamins are there in terms of the proteins and, the lettuce and the entire, how many circles? Six divisions, or is it 6 of your, your staples, your protein, your legumes, your seeds, everything. Everything's on that plate. And then you hear, I don't want this. So I am not arguing about the I don't want. I want to have a discussion about why you do not want, or what about this that you do not wish to partake. And that is the trouble. So if it's about the look, I can put a little turmeric, give a little color, a little tomato ketchup, maybe make it red or browning, or I can shift it around. But you tell me you've never had it before, well, that is something which is true. I can't deny that. So what I have to do is to help you to find an acceptance of a new of something that is nutritious, has value to your future in terms of how it works for your body, and it takes you forward, and how you could allow your brain to adapt to new tastes, to new sensations within your palate. And that has worked. I can also help you in the taste. Again, maybe add some condiments, some pepper sauce, or a little more salt, or some black pepper, things that are table oriented, those things, and help you to validate that yes, this is good for my taste. So it's not about nutrition first, it's about the taste. Even though it doesn't look good, it's what it tastes. And so that we can always help you to work out that taste. And that's emotion. And I think and that's the whole thing about space. How do I learn to work my space? How do I learn to work the context around me? So I come into the office and my chairs are moved, or my desk is not there. What do? I can make a fuss. No. We have to learn how to contain and bring the balance. So, wow, somebody may be wanting to have a new display, or to change around the aesthetics, There's some reasons, but we need to ask. We need to engage in conversation. We need to decide that it is not just the way I think it must be to be. It's about us learning how to improve the environmental responses by how we initiate the conversation to bring clarity for the function. And it's important for that. One does need to appreciate how you are focusing your future. Is that English? Yes. How you are focusing the future, or how are you focusing on the future? Not so much on and on, but how are you bringing... See, as I look at the camera in front of me, there's a focusing to make sure that you get it sharp. There's a constant focusing of our day to make sure that we're always in the right, or we always have everything ceteris paribus. So we're always focusing. It's like, to make sure you don't go there, be careful, walk on the side, because you don't want to have to go to the hospital. Hey, take your time how you chew the food. Take your time how you run around the house. Because we don't want calamities. We are not into the reconstructing or the rehabilitating or the reconciling. The reasons are not what we like. We just like it is. But we have to understand that we have to reform and refocus as we go along to make sure that the life is balanced. I am encouraging you today to have communication, to talk about the things that really irk you, to talk about the things that really do not satisfy you sometimes, to talk about the things that you seem to be out of sync. And therefore, it's important to note how we are building and to establishing the function is important. So we look at the whole, as I said, the trappings of our present. We look at how we are exercising the different verbs for the no and the yes. But we have to make sure that when we have a no or yes, after it, there's going to be an action. So you're either going to come inside and sit down. You're either going to move away. You're either going to accept the new chair. You're going to eat the new food. You're going to just enjoy life. So it's not about a singular life. It's about that collective context, that where we interchange and interface one with the other to bring about living, to bring about the dynamics of truth, the dynamics of enjoyment, the dynamics of freedom as we engage one with the other. And therefore, we're realizing that even from small, there has been that kind of conflict and agony with siblings and with parents, etc. So we are learning now, as we go along, how to diffuse that by just accepting the fact that the dynamics of each movement is different. And therefore, we have to keep focusing, or should I say refocusing, to bring out the function so that we will be working together with each other. So, tell me, how do you envisage dinner tonight, work tomorrow? How do you envisage the whole concept of working out your child's extracurricular activities? How do you work out your spouses coming home late? Those things may irk you because that's not how it should be done. Why are we doing this? Hold on. No why and how come thing. It's tell me, I realize that you're late. Tell me, you didn't tell me for what's happening. I realize that you have not yet done your homework. Is there something I can help you with? So we have to learn how to bring that maturity into the whole scheme of things in order for us to establish the way forward. I trust that we are hearing that context of control eventually. We're going to talk about that later on. That issue of how we are bringing that mind into that space of oneness. But today, what I am doing is just helping you to connect one with the other, which is a social issue. How do we connect? We think of social issues outside the house. We think of it as in a party or going for a walk or a live. No, it starts in the house. How do you socially connect with the members of your immediate family? Child and parent, cousin and grandparent and auntie. How do you do that? Whether in the office, wherever you are, it's important to know the need for you to have that transition in terms of how we present our ideas and how we work them one with the other. It's been a good evening, and I don't want to stop it, but I need to run away, and I need to say ciao. But as I leave, do remember that we need each other, for our tomorrow. So let's learn how to just behave, but to behave functionally, so that we can continue to enjoy this life and be productive. Amen. Have a good day. And